Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brandon Shank, and welcome to the Brandon Shank Podcast. Well, what's up, everybody? It's 79 degrees here today, and I did something I said I would not do. I'm wearing long sleeves.
Hey,
remember I said, man, in Virginia Beach, you get out, it's cold in the morning, and it's a thin little 3/4 zip, more of a golf kind of jacket, but it was cold this morning. It was like 68. It was chilly. And 68 here is like freezing.
Yeah.
So I went out to my truck. I felt so good, and then I got in front of this window. I think it's about 107 where I'm at now.
It's hot in here.
Yeah, but I did what I said I wasn't going to do. Last week, we warned all of the listeners, do not come to Virginia Beach and wear a sweatshirt, because by 11:30, you're going to feel like it's the middle of the summer, and you're going to think, why am I wearing a sweatshirt? And you're going to go home and take all your clothes off and come out in shorts and a tank top.
Yeah, it's true.
Here I am. But I feel fine. When I go outside, this thing's coming off. I guarantee it. There's no way I can survive. I'm a warm-blooded mammal.
Yeah. I got a long sleeve on too, but it's like a t-shirt. It's not
3/4.
It's not like a jacket.
Yeah. I mean, that's okay. You can even rock that in the summer, though. Like a 3/4 sleeve, I can rock those in the summer. It's like t-shirts.
Yeah.
They're not super hot.
No.
I don't rock them in the summer under any circumstance.
Because it's really hot.
Because it's really hot. So you didn't really have an epic fail. But I just realized I've lived in this city. This will be my 10th fall. And I made the mistake that I told everybody not to make.
Yeah.
It is Virginia Beach. It's a mystery out here, people. It is a mystery in this city, because you think you know it. I mean, 10 years in, and it still duped me. I threw this on this morning, like, man, you know what? I got this perfect thin paper-like jacket, and you put it on. I got out of the truck. By the time I got to Town Center from my house, a 20-minute drive, I got out of my truck and was like, wow,
yeah,
it's hot out here.
The sun is deceiving.
Virginia Beach is deceiving.
It's very deceiving.
This place is deceiving. So I have a question.
All right.
And something that is, it's really baffled me. I don't understand the iPhone 15.
Okay.
Every commercial is promoting titanium.
Oh, yeah.
And how it came from space.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this is the selling point for an iPhone.
Space.
Well, titanium. Rocks. Who cares? I could care less what my phone is made of. I really don't care. So I want to understand. You're a tech guy. Mm-hmm. You always say you nerd out. Well, nerd out on us. Would you nerd out on all of us listening? For those that just want a new iPhone because they want one, I know it's got new features. I downloaded the new iOS. Yeah. The text messaging is amazing on the new iOS. I love it.
Yeah.
It's more Android-like. And I will say this. I like Apple and everything, but when it came to the texting, Android, the keyboard's a million times better than Apple, in my opinion.
Well, the cool thing about Androids is you can change the keyboards. You can download new ones. Yeah. You can do different ones.
You can download some for Apple. Yeah. You can do that. But this keyboard here might be my favorite.
Yeah, it is nice.
But I'll say this. I don't care if it's titanium.
I don't.
So either. I need to know why this is a selling point. When they sit around this big table that's shaped like an apple, and it's a beautiful, floor to ceiling glass, and everybody is sipping on their lattes, Apple Incorporated.
Yeah.
What are they thinking to say, let's promote titanium? Like, who's asking for that is all I want to know.
Yeah. I guess one of the selling points of it is it would be lighter, technically, made out of stronger and lighter. But I agree with you. I don't really care about the outside. I don't care about the hardware so much as I care about the software and the camera. Yeah. But I don't really care. Like, I watched a video too of a guy for like 15 years, whatever. He's been strength testing the new iPhones, and it's not the titanium. He said the titanium's really strong, but he basically tries to like bend the phone in half, and all the glass on the back just instantly shatters. So he's like, "Oh, that's probably not good."
Yeah. Well, I've been baffled by this. I'm thinking your selling point is that it's titanium.
Yeah.
I'm missing something. I don't know the details. I don't understand why titanium is such a big selling point. I'm not here to. I am an Apple user. I have iPads, this computer that I'm using, my phone. I'm all in because it's easy. I like it. Yeah. So there's nothing negative. I just don't understand the selling point as being titanium. When you come on like the new iPhone, it can now, shoot lasers. You're like, oh, I got to get the new iPhone. But what's happening is I feel like as the new iPhones are coming out, there's less and less reason to get them because everybody gets the iOS, which I'm glad they should.
Yeah.
But as they come out, you're thinking, well, why do I need a new iPhone? Like, I don't need a new iPhone. This one's great,
I just looked it up. It's exactly what I said. Titanium is one of the highest strength to weight ratios of any metal.
So it's super light.
And it's strong.
Well, who cares?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I've never had a moment where I'm like, gosh, I just need a lighter phone.
I guess people that drop their phones all the time.
Well, there was a long season I went without a case on my phone.
Yeah, you were brave.
Yeah, and honestly, it was fine. Like, I don't jack my phones up too bad.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Yeah, I don't care.
Now that you said that, I kind of do want one.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't want one? Of course you do.
I mean, I'm due.
Yeah. I'm still rocking that 12 Pro.
Yeah, I think I got a 13 Pro.
There you go.
But I'm like, who cares? Maybe I'm due. Maybe I'll go
I
get
just
one.
want the camera on it.
Maybe I'll go get one just to see.
Have you seen the stabilization, the tracking
pretty cool.
that it does? Dude, it's insane. Like, that's what I want.
Well, the 14 has that, doesn't it?
Maybe.
I think the 14
like
has stabilization.
12 Pro.
Yeah, my oldest kid has the 14.
Yeah.
And I think that has the stabilization where you can run and it keeps it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're really cool. So, but it's, it's titanium. Maybe I'll go get one today. I'll get one today and we'll see if we can break it next week on the podcast.
Yeah, sure.
So I was in D.C. yesterday for an event at the Museum of the Bible, and it was like a pastor appreciation event put on by Wava Radio. I don't know if they call it Wava or WAVA, either way. Bishop Derek Greer had me come to it. It was awesome. Great day. Good food, good time, good people. And I always love D.C. I mean, it's home. That's where I'm from. So when I go back to D.C., it feels like home, But one thing I realized, I heard people talking at a Starbucks, and this girl was talking to her coworker and was telling him how long it takes her to get to a certain place. And she was like, well, it's 20 minutes, but with traffic, it's like 40. And it just hit me. That's the way I grew up. My grandma, she's from West Virginia. When you ask her, how far is it to Pittsburgh? She'll say, about 270 miles. You're like, well, that doesn't help me. Is it 35 mile speed limit? Is it 55 mile an hour speed limit? Is it 65? How long does it actually take you?
Yeah.
It's like, when I ask somebody, and I'm interested, people that are listening, when somebody asks you how long it takes to get somewhere, are you looking for mileage or are you looking for time?
Time, for sure.
For me, it's time.
Yeah.
My grandma was always giving mileage. Or how long does it take to get to the store? I don't know. It's about 3 miles. Well, what does that mean? But in D.C., they give you 2 times. With traffic and without traffic. And I grew up like that because if you're from D.C. Metro, the DMV, it is all about traffic. So everything revolves around traffic. Every schedule revolves around traffic. Here, they have practices at 5:30. You don't see that stuff in D.C.
No.
Nobody practices at 5:30 in
not
D.C.
possible.
Maybe they do, but times might have changed. But when I was there, nobody practiced at 5:30. Nobody's home at 5:30.
Yeah.
You leave at 6 in the morning, get home at 6 at night. It's different, right?
Yeah.
But it was just this. It was this moment where I was like, Virginia Beach. This is the biggest city in Virginia. That's the most chillest, laid back, kick it, enjoy yourself, relax, go surf. It's just when the waves are good, some shops are closed down. It's just a great place to live because there's traffic, but nothing like what I grew up in. So people are like, it's still a lot of traffic out today. I'm like, nah, it moves. When lights turn green, cars move. There's not traffic. It's just more cars on the road.
Yeah. I wonder, though, when you're talking about your grandma giving distances in miles, because us today, we put it on our GPS. It tells us how long it's going to take time. But I wonder if that's just the old school days of maps, like pulling out your map in your car and you had to figure out how many miles it was to get somewhere. You weren't really necessarily as concerned about time.
Or my grandma's just brilliant.
Or maybe.
And she gives stuff in mileage and not time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She
is brilliant.
Smart brain.
Yeah. When you tell me how many miles, it doesn't help me because then I got to calculate it. And I'm like, okay, 270 miles. And I'll be like, about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that. I'm going to Outer Banks this week for an event. And it's only 79 miles, but it said it takes an hour and 45 minutes. Something. And there's a lot of 35-mile-an-hour roads we're going to hit.
Well.
Or maybe they're going to put me on the beach and drive.
You hit that strip where you turn up to the Outer Banks, and it is like 25 miles per hour.
For 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why. You're going slow.
Maybe I'll just hit the beach and drive.
Slow driving.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Put the top down.
Yeah, just do your thing, man. Enjoy it. So, I'm not going to talk about this anymore after today. Or if I have to, maybe next week.
You're not? Okay. Yeah.
Maybe next week if we have to. Depends on how big things get.
You'll probably have to talk about it.
But Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I knew it.
You knew it was coming?
As soon as you said it, I knew what was happening.
In the NFL ratings.
Yeah.
I just can't believe how she has taken over the greatest game in the fall in all of sports. She's taken over the NFL. The NFL has stepped aside and let Taylor Swift and the Swifties just take over the NFL game. Sunday night's game, the Jets and the Kansas City Chiefs, which I thought the Jets were going to win that game.
Yeah.
At no point did they look better.
Yeah.
But at many points, the Chiefs looked like they may not pull it out.
Yeah.
27 million viewers watched that game. The most watched Sunday night show since the Super Bowl. 53% surge among teenage girls.
Of course.
They showed Taylor Swift 17 times.
Yeah, you got to cut to her.
The
every
most the most streamed regular season NFL game ever.
Yeah.
That includes elimination NFL regular season games. That includes division clinching NFL games. The most watched streamed game ever.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with this society.
Listen, it's all rigged. It's all a setup. Their relationship isn't real. It's just for ratings.
I'll tell you what, that's genius if it is. That is genius.
It's a ploy. I mean,
listen, we're talking about on this podcast. Why? There are podcasts that have billions of viewers, and then there's us. And we're talking about when it trickles down this far, when it trickles to this point, you know that it's the big
we're
deal.
week 2 of the conversation. Yeah.
Week two.
And
it's taking up time on this podcast. So it's unbelievable to me. I don't get it.
Have you heard the conspiracy that she's actually an Eagles fan, and she's dating him, and she's going to wait for the perfect time to break up with him because he'll fall apart and the Eagles will beat the Chiefs. And
all I know is she's probably writing her next album with Kelsey's
I think
life.
she is an Eagles fan. I think someone said that. I don't know.
Well, with Kelsey's
I don't follow.
life, his life is our next album that you're gonna get. From
I know.
Poor fella.
It's coming.
Who knows? Maybe they're gonna fall in love and live happy. I
Good
can't
for
imagine
them.
these poor people if they fall in love and have children. God forbid.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, I just can't imagine what their life's gonna be. You know what I
it's
mean?
tough.
But anyway, so more power to them, man.
Good for them.
Let's go, Swift Kelsey.
Yeah, Swelsey.
Did
you? I saw a video the other day. It's just a TikTok video, and a guy, and he's like, "What is happening?" He's zooming into a lady wearing a Swelsey jersey, and then he pans over. He's at a football game, and he pans over. He's like, "We're at a Panthers game."
Unbelievable. It's like the NFL doesn't exist right now.
It doesn't.
Nobody cares unless Taylor Swift shows up to the game.
Yeah.
I'm baffled that it has been this big of a deal.
I asked BP, I said, "How are you enjoying the cuts to Taylor Swift after every play?" He's like, "I'm done with it. I just want to play football."
I think Taylor Swift is probably a genuinely incredible human.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that she can't help the fact that she's amazing at what she does.
Sure.
That she truly loves people. That she truly cares for people. I mean, she is as genuine as it comes from what I've seen from it. I don't know her. I don't know. Maybe she's a rage machine behind the scenes, but she's given, millions of dollars in bonuses to truck drivers. I respect that, man. she's just a genuine human. And I think people who feel loved by this young lady, and that's why they love her.
Yeah.
She's great. She's a phenomenal writer. She's got an incredible gift set.
Yeah.
But she knows how to really, from what you see, she knows how to treat people, and the reason there's such a pandemonium about her is because people feel cared about her, and I think they are. They had this. I saw this video of she caught somebody in the stands taking a video of her, and she kind of looked outside of her eye, and she smiled at him and gave him a little heart, and I was like, that's so sweet for somebody to do that. That everybody wants to get a glimpse of her, and for her just to have that moment with somebody, it's just constantly showing them hey. I see you. I don't know, and that's probably why they love her, because she seems to just love people. Now I don't know her. She could be. Maybe she's not. I don't know. But from what you see from a distance, it seems like she's genuine,
Yeah, there's no one bigger either. So.
Yeah, seriously. So, and Kelsey's, he's a good, the thing is, that's a Hall of Fame dude. He might be the best tight end to ever play the game when he's done.
Yeah.
So.
And he seems like a really nice dude, too.
Yeah, he seems like a funny cat. He seems like a dude you'd want to hang with.
Yeah.
Exactly. But whatever. Maybe not. I don't know him. His brother seems super funny, though.
Yes.
I would like him more if he wasn't
Hang
an
out with
Eagle. Go
Jason.
Commanders. But tough weekend. But
man.
he seems like a fun dude.
Yeah.
Well, hey, so what's the number one? I'm going to do you asked for it, but I'm going to ask you a question.
Do I need to hit the jingle?
Hit the jingle.
Here it goes.
Don't blame me. You asked for it.
Got him. What's the number one day of the year you look forward to?
Oh, wow. Right out of the blue, huh? I don't know. The number one day out of the year. Day?
Number one day of the year
Number
you look
one
forward to every
day?
year.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Now that I have kids, Christmas has always been fun. But
Wrong answer. Go again.
Whoa. Wait, I thought this was my opinion.
It is. It's not right. When I tell you this one, you'll get it. Next. Give me another day.
Okay. I'm going to say this for me, though, personally. For me, though, I do think it's probably Thanksgiving. I have a lot of good memories when it comes to Thanksgiving. It's good food. It's family.
There's no pressure
for me.
presents.
It's like shooting clay pigeons and shotguns. It's a fun time.
Thanksgiving's great. There's no presents. It's just food, and there's no expectation. There's no I gotta go to this house, this house as much. You just have people over and kick it. That's a good answer. It's probably mine too, but next one.
Well, I don't have
Give me a next one. Something about you, Corey.
Something about me.
If we get to celebrate you. What would that be?
I mean, if you're celebrating me, it's my birthday.
Yeah, birthday.
January 19th.
Yeah, and you know, it would only be appropriate for us today to celebrate somebody who is having a birthday right now in this moment. I'm going to give a call to our very own
Let's do it.
Joshua Rockwell.
Oh, there we go.
Birthday. He took me golfing for my birthday.
Nice.
So I figured, what the heck? Let's put him on the spot.
Let's call
for
him.
He's going to answer this. There's no doubt
right.
he's answering.
I'm ready on the volume.
He
so
will
we can hear
answer
him.
this. If
You
he's in the
put
middle of
him
a
up.
meeting, closing out a deal for billions, he's going to answer this.
So he's
call.
one of those guys. Oh.
What's up, Rockwell?
Oh, no. I know this call.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rocky. Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm going to tell you what, I was a little worried at the register that you started at, but man, you had to reach for it, but you grabbed that high note. Good
Hey,
for you, man.
that octave only comes out when it's people that I love with a deep intimacy in my heart. And you're that guy.
I'm happy I can bring that octave out in your life. That says volumes about me. That validates me in so many ways that you don't even know.
Oh, I do know. What
you do.
What you got going on today, man? It's your birthday, and this is a happy birthday from me and Corey. And you may or may not be on the podcast, but you have to check that
I may
later.
or may not be in the podcast.
You may or may not be.
You're there singing loud. I feel like I might be on the podcast. Let me tell you what, I have just an amazing amount of stuff going on today. Work, life. I'm not on social media, but my wife posted something loving and sweet on social media, so I've gotten all the calls from the second and third tier people in my life to happen to know it's my birthday. my third grade best friend reached out, said, "Happy birthday, bro! I'm part of a multi-level marketing scheme now. I'd love you to be a part of." And I was like, "Oh wow, thanks." So yeah, it's been a great day so far. I can't wait for what the rest of the day holds. But yeah, I really appreciate. What I really appreciate is the direct calls from people that actually know me, and so I couldn't appreciate your call more.
Hey, real quick, we got to go to an ad. We'll be right back. You golfing today, man? It's a nice day to golf.
You know I'm golfing. I'm golfing this afternoon.
Dude, I must have missed the call, man. I never got that call. I was sorry, man.
You missed it.
Oh,
You missed the call.
Dang it,
yeah,
man.
It was a good one. I mean, I left a great message, but I didn't get anything back.
Are you going national?
No, they got a tournament, so I'm going to Heron Ridge, a.k.a. Rockwell Ridge. They're going to rename it after I'm done.
Well, I've seen the way you golf. That's a possibility. It's a possibility. Anyway, man, well, happy birthday. I know you were there for me on mine. So, one of the best days of my life, September 4th, 2023.
It's arguably the best day of your life, however many years ago, but we'll just, we'll leave that there.
True. Hey, man.
Thank you so much for the call. I really appreciate it. And have a great day. Have a great rest of the podcast.
Hey, love you, bro. Happy birthday, man.
Love you too.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Later.
All
Bye.
right, bye now.
Told you. He's going to answer no matter what. It's my
There he goes.
homeboy right
Oh,
there.
yeah, for sure.
He was probably in a meeting. He says he was at the checkout register. He was probably in a meeting, closing like $1 billion deal. Probably doing like a bunch of closings, and he's probably had to step out and just tell the president of whatever firm he works for he needs a minute.
There you go.
That's usually what happens.
All right.
You know what I mean? So, did you hear about the other day? I don't know this umpire Angel Hernandez. He had a call on Bryce Harper from the Phillies of a check swing that he called him out on. Did you hear about this?
I did not hear about it.
So Bryce
no.
Harper had a check swing on a full count. It wasn't close. Like when you watch the replay, it wasn't even halfway of a check swing.
Yeah.
And he called him out. Now this guy, this umpire has been in the news he tried to sue the MLB for some things. He's had a couple bad calls this year where he's been nose to nose with some. I mean, this is a consistent thing for him.
Yeah.
And Bryce Harper got mad, went nose to nose with him, tore his helmet off and threw it in the crowd, which I thought was an awesome move.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome.
Hey.
And then
That's a cool souvenir, too, by the way. Whoever caught it.
was
Is
a
this
kid.
where it's going? Okay.
there was a kid, and then Bryce Harper sent for his helmet so he could sign it.
Oh, let's go.
It's for the kid. So the
I
kid
like
caught, and it was their throwback unis. So it's like the dark maroon Phillies helmet.
Nice.
So it's the old school one.
Yeah.
He catches Bryce Harper's helmet in the stands, and then
That's
Bryce
cool.
Harper sends for it so he can sign it for the kid.
That's really cool.
And I was like, you know what? You're an entertainer, Bryce.
Yep.
And you're a tough out. And when you get a call it wasn't, you have to watch it. It wasn't a bad call. It wasn't like, oh, I just missed it. It was I'm intentionally calling this to show you that I'm the authority here, and you're going to do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
It was one of these, it was a puff-up call. That's all it was.
Yeah.
It was a bad call. Everybody they were calling for the dude's job. And it's not the first time this year they've called for him. I mean, he's been in the middle of controversy, this umpire, all year.
Yeah.
For years. Well, when he did this to Bryce, it was definitely I've got more hair on my chest than you got call. And so Bryce Harper went after him. And it wasn't like, well, Bryce lost his attitude. No, I was like, Bryce Harper's a professional baseball player. I think he's protecting the integrity of the game. You're thinking, well, he went after an umpire. He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're entertainers, right?
Yeah.
He went after the umpire and told him, I disagree with you on every degree, and you're very wrong. And then he threw his helmet in the stands. Say, well, he just went off. I don't know. I think looking back, it's cool. Some kid caught his helmet, then he signed it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, do you want your kids to act like that? I'm like, my kid makes it to the pros, and an umpire does that consistently to him, and he throws his helmet in the stands and signs it, and then he's making the news for how great of a player he is and how much he cares about the fans.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
I think we got to keep it relative here.
Yeah. He didn't punch anybody. I
No.
mean, yeah.
No, there's no fight.
Yeah.
Which he's been in them before, and it was legit.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not a Phillies fan, but I may hit up a game to see if maybe I can catch a helmet.
Yeah, like I said, that doesn't
amazing.
that doesn't happen often.
Doesn't happen, And we're big Braves fans, and so there's a chance they could be in Camden.
Yeah.
And those tickets, my wife if they're in the World Series in Camden, my wife is adamant we're going.
Yeah.
Which means I'm going to have to find a couple grand to be able to go to this game, because she's pretty adamant that we're going to go and cheer the Braves on to victory. So with that being said,
I hope she doesn't.
Yeah. You don't want to play the Braves?
Being an Orioles fan, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I wouldn't want to play the Braves either. I mean,
yeah.
You got Acuna, who's breaking all kinds of records. Matt Olson, over 50 home runs. I mean, we're ready.
Yeah.
We're ready. We're primed. I think we're going to be tough out, but we'll see. Hopefully we make it again and
never know.
Run. I would love for the Braves to get another World Series this close to the last one, especially since they've had to redo their roster and, or some of their roster. There's a window here, and we're in that window. Braves, obviously they have the best record in baseball. I mean, they're balling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
We shall see.
Hey, did you see last night Craig Kimbrell had an intentional balk at the bottom of the ninth?
No, I didn't.
Dude, such a smart move. So he was on there. There's a rule that the runners on second, you can technically steal signs if you're on second base. It's not against the rules to steal signs. Everything's electronic now, but I think it's like, how the pitcher holds the baseball, what he does in his glove. You can tell if it's off speed or regular. And so that they were up 4-1, so that the runner doesn't steal the sign. Craig Kimbrell gets on the mound and drops the baseball, which is a balk. You can't drop the ball once you're on the rubber. So he drops the baseball, actually throws it on the ground once he's on the rubber, and the guy moves to third. And just so he could just focus on the batter with 2 outs, and this guy couldn't steal signs.
That's cool. Yeah. That's
I was like, bro, that was a super smart play.
I like it.
Kimbrell used to be a Brave.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I like it.
Yeah. So I was like, man, Craig, I like your style, bro.
Yeah.
I like your style, and still be relevant. He's been playing for a long time, but it was a smart baseball play.
Well, it takes a lot of courage too. I mean, it's a lot of confidence, trust in yourself to put someone on third base with 2 outs.
Yeah, and say, hey, bro, you ain't gonna steal my sign. Get over there.
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah. So they went nuts for him. I mean, he was good when he was a Brave. I mean, he left, and it's all she wrote. But so last night, driving home from DC. HRBT, Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, for those of you who don't know, you're not from around the area. It's the tunnel that connects Virginia Beach and Norfolk to Newport News, Yorktown, that side of the water.
Yeah.
We came through the HRBT last night, and dude, the sunset was beautiful. I mean, it was like the sky went from like the blue to the light purple to the light pink. I mean, it was gorgeous. It was picturesque. And we've seen it a million times, but it doesn't change how amazing it is. I mean, Casey and her friends always go up to the bay and they'll watch the sunset for a reason. The sun was beautiful, bro. I mean, it was the deepest orange pink you can imagine.
Yeah.
It was setting on the horizon, just gorgeous. And so there's this car, and it keeps going in my lane right when I come out of the tunnel. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with these people? Well, I see they're from Indiana, and the 2 dudes are trying to see the sunset. People were driving all over the road because the sun was absolutely gorgeous as it was setting, and the water was beautiful. The sky was gorgeous. And it dawned on me how mesmerizing God really is.
Yeah.
You can't, there's nothing greater than his creation.
Yeah.
I always think of Romans chapter 1, verse 19 and 20, when Paul tells the church in Rome, he says, they know the truth about God because he made it obvious to them. And then he says, for ever since the world was created, people have seen the earth and the sky. Through everything God made, they can clearly see his invisible qualities. Through everything God made, we can see his invisible qualities.
Yeah.
And it says he's eternal power and divine nature. So they have no excuse for not knowing God.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
It's like you think you're mesmerized by the beauty of the world because it's beautiful. There was a creator that handcrafted and touched each thing. Think about the ocean. There's salt in the water. What detail? It's not just water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the sand that makes up the sea and the different colors of the sand and all the creatures and all of the microorganisms and the biology about the ocean. But last night when I saw that, it was a moment that I had with God thinking, Lord, I don't know what these people believe. I don't know. They may not believe. They may be atheists for all I know, or they may be Buddhists. I don't know. But what I do know is they were mesmerized by God's invisible qualities.
Yeah.
His creation had them driving all over the road about making their last drive across the road.
Worth a car crash.
Yeah, on a bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
But God, I remember we moved to Virginia Beach because I'm a mountain guy, right?
Yeah.
I grew up in the mountains, and I grew up in D.C., but the mountains always kind of took me somewhere. Had a four-wheeler growing up, loved riding the mountains. And I mean, you got to see the place I grew up last week. We went up there. And we moved down to Virginia Beach. I remember the first fall I was here, I was really kind of depressed because I'm a mountain guy. I was like wanting October, even where we're from in Hagerstown, it's about corn mazes and it gets chilly and you start, the apple cider and you start making the s'mores and doing the campfires in early October, late September some years.
Yeah.
And down here, got the long sleeves on.
Still sweating.
October, I'm like, what am I doing? It doesn't really turn fall down here until it really never gets that cold of weather, but usually it's like starts to get into like high 60s, mid 70s in late November.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it goes from that to like middle of December, and then it doesn't really turn to winter. It just turns kind of rainy and muggy for a month and a half, and then it turns into spring,
Yeah.
But I say that because I have been mesmerized by God's creation. That fall, I remember I was overwhelmed because I wasn't cold. I wanted the mountains. And I'd go down the beach all the time. We lived in the ocean front, so I'd ride my bike down there, and I'd always look at the ocean, just talk, pray to God, and say, Lord, just whatever, just trying to connect. And now I look back to 10 years ago, and when I'd make those bike rides and how special those moments were, not realizing then that I was amazed at God's invisible qualities, but at the time I was just going through stuff. I was, missing other things that felt familiar. It's cool because I know in my life I can take big moments that I had in my life back to seeing God in nature, seeing God in moments where a sunset, seeing God. And, this can sound really hippie. It can sound really weird, but I think the hippies were onto something. They were onto some stuff when it came to understanding like the nature. And I mean, sure, there's extremes to everything, but God is in these things. And that's why people, when you get to nature and you just go hiking or you go out and you surf or you go out on a boat for the day, there's something so relaxing and restful because God created all these things for our pleasure.
Yeah.
He didn't create it just so we could see it. He created it so you could enjoy it.
Yeah.
So there's something so powerful about that. And I just had a moment last night when I saw these guys doing this. I was like, man, how sweet. Two young dudes about wrecking the car looking back at the sunset because it just mesmerized them. They're thinking they weren't from here, It's just cool,
No, it's really cool. I think there's such a power to that, and I think even as you're talking, we have this like innate desire to even go to these places like that. Like, I mean, every destination, vacation place, whatever, it's usually because it's beautiful scenery. Like, that's why we want to go to those places. Like, there's the luxury, this, that.
People make a lot of money off of God's beauty.
But it's like people, I mean, you want to go to Fiji or whatever. You want to sit in these like little, luxurious huts or whatever, but you're sitting looking at God's creation. I agree. They're pretty much everything in this life. Well, it is everything where you stop and almost gasp and causes you to have those moments or you get into a car crash on a bridge. Like, it's God's creation. Like, that's what it is. Everything. That's cool. That's really cool.
Well, think about a 5-star resort. Let's say you get all the amenities. You get the building that they built. You get the food, the restaurants, the valets, all of those things.
Yeah.
But you're in a concrete. Everything outside that place is concrete.
Yeah.
Right? It's just concrete walls around the facility.
Yeah.
Now, let's put everybody in Fiji on a white beach,
Yeah.
and all you have is a sleeping bag.
Well, I'm there.
You see my
Fiji
point?
All day.
You
Yep.
see my point?
Oh yeah.
Because all the things man created are just a little bit of the whipped cream on top of the sundae.
But even the
but what
things
God
that-
created is
yeah.
really the reason we're going to those places.
Well,
Exactly
yeah.
what you said. To your point.
Yeah, and even the things that man creates, it's just one step to say, well, God created us to accomplish these things. Like, that's cool too. Like, that's a moment where you can step back and be like, wow, like we're created in his image, and so we're creative. Like we're designed to do these things, and so that's even really, really cool to think about. But yeah, I'm Fiji in a sleeping bag all day.
Yeah. Well, so we're getting ready to move, and the house we're moving to, there's 8 acres, and there's cornfields behind us. There's a horse farm beside us, and the house we're moving into is beautiful. I mean, it's amazing. It's the owner who lived there before us spared no expense at all the luxuries and amenities. Like, they made it really nice for what they wanted. They had kids, and I can tell you, every time I thought about moving there, I've never once really thought about the house.
Yeah,
it's been always about the land.
Place.
Isn't that weird? It's just land. It's grass. There's nothing. It's just land. And we're in Virginia Beach. It's flat.
Yeah.
There's no mountain. It's just there's 2 of its woods. 60 acres is cleared, and it's just land. And there's hundreds and hundreds of acres around us. There's 2 houses within. There's only 2 houses probably within 30 acres. I don't know, maybe or 40 acres. There's nothing around us. But in the whole process, I've never once really wanted to move there because of the house. The house is, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make light of that. The house is beautiful. It's great. It's got a great pool, all that stuff. But the greatest part of it is the land.
Yeah.
And not because, I just want to move out and have my own place. No, it's because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I say all that to say the motivation for me in all of it was just the beauty of the land.
Yeah.
I remember standing at the very back corner of the land looking out, and just that I had a mesmerizing moment when I was there. That's why I want to move there. The other stuff's great, but I like the house I live in now.
Yeah.
I'm moving because I want the property. I want the space, and my boys can have it, but it's beautiful to have that piece of land. And that's, again, to your point. I mean, for us, like where we live now, we love our home. We love where it's at. We love the how convenient it is. Really the biggest thing for me with this one is just the land we're getting.
Yeah.
And I think there's a part of it when I was in 7th grade, and I've shared this story before. I don't remember if it was on the podcast, but I know I shared it last week when you guys were with me. We went up to Oakland, Maryland, as we looked at these campuses we're getting ready to launch. I took you guys to this back field behind where I grew up that I had a moment with God on with my foiler, and I showed you, like, this is the spot. And at the time, you couldn't really see because the trees are all grown up, but when those trees are down, there's 3 rows of mountains there. And I think what I'm learning is I want my kids to have experiences with God like I had. And it sounds so dumb because God can have those in a garage. He can have those in a concrete building. He can have those. But I think there's probably a part of me that wants to get them out to a place where I feel like they could have experiences that I had.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know they have, because we go camping, we do those things. And maybe it sounds a little desperate as a dad, but I think I am.
Yeah.
I think as a dad, I am desperate. My oldest is in 7th grade, and I really am desperate. I want him to know Jesus. And I don't know that he has the hunger for God. He loves God. He talks to God, but he's in 7th grade. He's about to be 13. Like, you don't know anything about these kids are going through hormonal changes. You don't even know what's going on with them, man. Like, day to day, you're not sure if you're going to get, you're not day to day. You're not sure if you're going to get
what happened to you.
You just don't know if you're going to get the Incredible Hulk or the sweetest little kid you've ever met. You just don't know. The hormones are real, and in that, they're trying to figure out their faith. They know what you believe, and it's their faith. But I don't know. I didn't want to read my Bible when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Did you?
No.
I had no desire. My kids hate to read, and I told him, I said, Caden, I told my kid this recently. I said, bro, I hate to read. I said, and I just finished my doctorate. And I said, I'm telling you this because I don't like reading, bro. Yeah. For me and you, I don't sit down and casually read. There's like, I like to casually read. I'm like, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
That sounds like I like to stab myself in the foot every now and then. I hate casually reading, but I do it.
Yeah.
Because it helps me and it helps me grow. And so you would never think somebody who hates reading would go through education like I have. But I told my kids, it's doing the things you don't want to do to get to places that you can't get without.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to share that with them. But, I think there's a fine line. Like, and I think for all those parents out there, there's a fine line of how I don't want my kids to just know God exists. I want to do everything I can to create opportunities for them to know him before they get out of my house, so that when they leave, they don't feel like they're learning it for the first time, which there'll be an element of that.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm really struggling with that today. That's like a big heaviness on my heart, is like I got a 7th grader that I've poured a lot of baseball into him. I coach his team. They're good. We've played really well. Those kids have developed. I've been right there with them. Kate and I, we've worked a lot. He doesn't do a lot of work outside of the games or practices because he's not there yet, and I don't force him. But it's a lot of baseball, a lot of coaching, a lot of pushing. And I just sometimes wonder if I've been as consistent with God as I have with baseball in his life.
Yeah.
And that's a hard pill to swallow.
That hits, man. That absolutely hits.
Yeah.
It's a real heart check for sure.
I mean, he knows what I do, and he goes to church, and he loves our church, but have I been as passionate about the things of God as I am about his on base percentage and about helping him become a great ball player?
Wow.
And I don't know that I have.
Yeah.
You know, he's my oldest, and a lot of our house circles around baseball and travel schedules and church on Sundays, and we pray before we eat.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I've done it well, and I'm scared to find out. You know, because I don't want to force it on him or any of my boys. I want them to fall in love with God because of the way I love God. And I don't know that I've always loved him in a way that's been addictive.
Yeah.
And I think it's just something that's really fueled in me in the last couple of days of, there's just a new fire in me that I've never had before about wanting to serve God and to lead and to preach and to pastor people. I mean, I think after going to see these campuses last week, something was in me of like, I want so badly to be the impact that God's got. I want to have the impact God has in my life, and I want to lock in a different way. The last couple of years have been crazy for us. I mean, we started travel programs, you know, all kinds of different things, and I just feel like the season right now with me finishing my schooling, Casey's getting ready to finish up in Wheaton here in the next couple of months. It's been a journey. Yeah. I feel like for both of us, we're ready to step into this thing in a new way, because the timing's right. But with that, it does, man. I get nervous. Like, I mean, I've never dishonored God. Our home is a very safe place for our boys. We love God. We don't, Casey had seasons where she was making them get up and do devotions.
Yeah.
The boys love the Lord as much, you know, they voice it. They love the church. I mean, honestly, people like you and Adam and Buddy, and there's so many people in my boys' lives that they look up to that are men who are helping raise young men, and even women. I mean, and I say even women because there are strong women in my boys' lives that they look up to. That's amazing.
Yeah,
you know. But I'm having a heart check right now, and it's hard because I don't feel like it's a conviction from God. I feel like it's just I want to fulfill what God has for my life, but I want my boys to fall in love with God, and I just don't know that I've been as active in that as I have other things.
Yeah.
And I think it's because there's a fear of like pushing them away from God, you know?
No, I feel that. Yeah.
Because I felt pushed away from God growing up, and my parents didn't necessarily push me. I'm involved in my kids' lives in a way that it's very different than what my parents were involved with.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes you see people who grow up and they turn out well, and you're like, man, those people had parents that weren't pushing them at all. They lucked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a dynamic where, you know, your heart's gotta be right, because I'm like, Lord, you almost feel like, God, you owe it to me. I've done everything for you, and I've done this and that, and God's like, they're not puppets.
Yeah.
These are real people.
Yeah.
You know.
That's heavy, man. No, because even as you're saying it, I feel it. I feel that. And I think there's even recently things that I felt like one of the things, and I'm not even saying we've done it that much, but, you know, I had this thought the other week of like, man, like, you know, like the devotion times at bedtime or whatever. Like, man, when was the last time we kind of like had a moment? And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm team like, I don't want to do that at bedtime. I don't want to like do it. Like, so recently, you know, around the dinner table, because we do like, we like make it a priority to eat dinner together at the dinner table. And I'm like, I don't know. I just felt like we're just going to talk about like different characteristics of God at the dinner table. Like make sure it's a part of our conversation within our daily lives. And so, yeah, I've felt this like, goodness, because you can focus on baseball. You can focus on their school. You can focus on all the million other things that are going on in their life. But making sure that there's a consistent conversation about God happening in my home, you know, in our relationship. Because I agree with you. You're like, Man, that hits heavy for sure. And I know on the baseball side of things for like my kids, I've found myself, because I'm not, you know me, I don't push as much as Lauren does.
There's always one in a relationship.
Yeah. But
I'm the pusher in our home.
yeah, I found myself stepping back and being like, dude, you have to remember this is a 10-year-old. Like, just remember he's 10. Because sometimes I think I can flip into that mode of like, you almost treat him like he's an adult. You're like, he's 10. And I have to remind myself almost every day, every practice, he's 10.
Yeah, well, it's almost like you get to the place, like I coach 13-year-olds,
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of them I coached when they were 11, 12. You get to thinking, what am I doing this for?
Yeah. It's good.
And I had a moment the other day with my oldest. What if he makes it and he's great and he's in the Hall of Fame? And then at 44, he's sitting in his house that's paid for. He's got $100 million in the bank. Then what?
Yeah.
And I just had a moment. Like, I've never really felt like I was trying to get my kids to the pros, because honestly, it's not my dream. It's their dream. I wish I could have done it. I had the ability. They just didn't come see me play, or I would have made it to the pros. You know, the scouts didn't come see me. They just missed an opportunity for greatness. It's whatever. But I don't know with my boys. I just don't know that I've put, and I felt like my heart was right doing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so it's not that things are changing. Things have changed in me in the last couple of days. Like, God's just been speaking to me very clearly. And it's not a correction. It's like, hey, these are in the right steps to this point, but this is where I want you to go.
Yeah.
And I think I just have such a passion, especially all he's doing at Palms. And like I said, we're getting ready to launch these campuses. It just seems so unrealistic, but it's happening, whether or not, you know, it's happening.
Yeah.
And then there's just so many things that are moving. And at the end of the day, I don't really care what my kids are great at. I want them to love the Lord. And I want them to have a deep relationship with God, because I know that's the only thing that's kept me from suicide in my life. It's the only thing that's kept me from adultery in my life. It's the only thing that's kept me from extensive drug use in my life. It's the only thing that kept me from being an alcoholic in my life.
Yeah.
He is the only thing that has kept me standing on my feet. And I'm afraid, one, I know I have nothing to offer my boys.
Yeah.
I'm their dad and I love them.
Yeah.
But I have nothing to offer them. I can't fix anything in their life. I can't help them through anything. I can only give them the Lord.
Yeah.
And so, it's one of those things where I feel like God's like, just keep bringing them back to me, man. I'm not going to stop being a part of things. I'm not going to stop coaching. Like, those are passions for me. I'm going to be with my kids till they're done. But yeah, it's where it's heavy. It is heavy, man. But it's, you know, that's why we're here. It's on this podcast. Like, I want people that are listening to know, like, this is a real fear. And I'm a pastor, and I've got all the accolades. I've got the ordination. I've got the doctorate. I've got all the stuff, and I haven't taken time for my family for it.
Yeah.
I haven't. I'm with my kids all the time. I'm coaching them all the time. I've built programs for my kid. I'm as active almost as you can be as a parent, I feel like, without being overactive.
Yeah.
And the other day, they're begging me on Saturday. All my boys around me. I'm trying to watch college football. It's like 4 p.m. I had to go to the fields and come back. They're begging me, will you play football with us, Dad? Play football? So I go out and be all-time quarterback. And they just go crazy because I'm going to go out and play with them.
Yeah.
So, like, I have a great relationship with my boys.
Yeah.
But I say that because I just don't – I know that I got to do better.
Yeah.
And I know that's only going to come from my life if I'm doing better with my relationship with the Lord. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got to be better, deeper in me.
Yeah.
Before it's going to be better for them. And I can't do it for them. I got to do it for me. And so this is my final thought.
Oh, man.
Here's my final thought.
As you're hearing me talk, you're probably thinking, man, this dude's on something different today. But really, I had a moment yesterday. I was at this event up at the Museum of the Bible, and I just caught on fire in a different way. Like, I just told my wife, I'm in a new season, and I'm just ready. I'm ready to find God in a different way. I'm ready to love him in a different way. I'm ready to be loved by him in a different way. I'm ready to run harder. And that doesn't mean busier. I'm ready to take rest in ways that I know I've needed it. I'm ready to breathe in ways that I haven't before. I'm sick and tired of anxiety attacks. I'm sick and tired of being overwhelmed. I'm sick and tired of depression. I'm sick and tired of living life from adrenaline rush to adrenaline rush. I need rest. I need the Lord in my life in a different way, in a bigger way. I don't care about the records of teams that I'm coaching and my kids and whether or not they're number one in whatever they do. I need them to fall in love with Jesus, and I want to be at peace, and I haven't had those things. And so every parent out there, every person out there, draw close to the throne, because he is the God of rest. He's the God of refuge. He is the God of peace. And I'm not running this God-forsaken rat race that the world has told us we have to run in order to be effective or in order to be successful. If that's the case, I will be okay with being unsuccessful in the world's eyes and being looked at as successful in God's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need both. I just need him.
Yeah.
And I want everybody listening today to know you are highly favored. You are desired. You are loved. And you have nothing in your life to apologize for, but everything to be thankful for. God is going to do it again and again and again and again and again. And I know for me, I am longing to know God on a deeper level. I just want to know him. I want to experience him. Life is empty. I've gotten to mountaintops that I've worked for, and I've gotten there and I just felt empty. My son said it to me recently. He said, "Dad, what do I have to be hopeful for? Why should I be joyful? I got to go to school. Then I got to eat lunch. And then I got to go to baseball." And then nothing brought him joy. I said, "You know why? Because the joy of the Lord is your strength, son." I said, knowing that you have an eternal Savior, he's a God of hope. He's a God of restoration. He's a God of refreshing, that no matter where you go in your life, he is the only thing you need. He is all powerful, all knowing. You'll never be alone. And no matter what you accomplish in your life, he's in front of you. Mm-hmm. Knowing that you're never, ever going to have to do this alone. No matter what mountain you climb or what valley you're in, you can be continually sustained because he is God. And you know you have a Savior that you're going to spend eternity with. And this blip on the radar called life is just that. And you have a reason every day. It says there may be morning in the evening, but joy will come in the morning. I said every day you have a reason to renew your strength in him. And so I told him, I said, don't look around you. Don't look for success or people or when you accomplish things. I've seen it even in my kids. They get to a place they've accomplished and it doesn't bring them anything. And so everybody listening today, joy will come in the morning. Yeah. Put your hope in the Lord and trust him, because he will do it and he is faithful. Let me pray for you. Lord, I just thank you for each and every listener. I pray that today they would know that you see them, you hear them. God, create a hunger in us that only you can, and help us to love you in ways that are deeper and bigger and better and brighter. God, help us to go distances that we couldn't go on our own, knowing that we look back that it was only you that took us to that place. It was only you that was that shot of Gatorade or adrenaline or electrolytes. We were about ready to drop. God, we love you and we are grateful for you. I pray that you continue to bring listeners here, bring them to hear your word so they would know that, God, you have ordained this moment for them to hear from you, that you are passionately in love with them. We love you, God, and we're thankful for you. We give you all that we are. And everybody said, amen. Hey, I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you this weekend, 9:30, online, in person. See you soon. Love you guys.